All right, let's come back home now, and this time talk about the rankings. Guys, the monthly rankings by FIFA is out for the month of October. And, well, for us, we are moving up. That's the summary for Nigeria. From 14th in Africa, we're now 11th. That's a leap of about 3 places. But let's run through the top 10 in Africa. And as you can see, Nigeria is 11th now, so we're knocking on the door of the top 10 once again. Algeria have been knocked off the top. They've dropped to 3rd. Cote d'Ivoire now lead. Senegal 2nd. Algeria dropped to 3rd. Tunisia 4th. Ghana have dropped to 5th. Egypt 6th. Congo DR 7th. Then Congo 8th. Mali 9. Cameroon 10. And the Super Eagles of Nigeria 11 in that one. So you can see that in our World Cup group, Algeria and Cameroon are ranked higher than Nigeria. All right.
And the funny thing is that in Group B of the AFCON 2017, number 2 ranked team in Africa, number 3, number 4 on the same group.
All right, let's take a look at the top 10. Nigeria is 60 in the world now. We moved from 64 the last time to 60 in the world. So that's a leap of about 4 places. But then guess the top 10. Argentina have gone to the top now. Germany are 2nd. Brazil 3rd. Brazil are back to where they usually are. Belgium are 4th. Colombia 5th. Chile 6th. In spite of the poor run of Chile in the South American qualifier for the World Cup, they're still there. France 7, Portugal 8, Uruguay 9, Spain back in the top 10.
Yeah, good.
All right, so that's it. That's what it looks like. The top 10 soccer playing nations in the world. Let me get your opinion, guys, very quickly. We moved up. A lot of people say, what are we celebrating? Just as you said about our tennis.
Yeah. I always approach the FIFA rankings with a lot of skepticism. I don't know. There's nothing to celebrate, really. Some of us...
Nothing to celebrate?
Nothing to celebrate.
Moving up 4 places.
No, it's nothing to celebrate. A few of us who grew up at the height of the power of Nigeria would always remember those times. I mean, that we are not even in the top 10 in Africa is a slap, you know, and how we begin to get things right. I mean, I started watching football during an era where, I mean, you felt so good sitting down and watching the Super Eagles play football. And if I compare that time with now, it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. So that's why I approach the rankings. There's really nothing to celebrate. I'm not saying that I want us to be number 5 by tomorrow, but at least even on the continent, when I look at those teams, I just feel we can be number 1. We deserve to be number 1 if we get our acts right. We don't need to do magic. We don't need any Undini stuff. Just get our acts right, sort out our internal issues, and let you know, thank God there's stability with the management of the Super Eagles now. That is good, and even that is probably responsible for the
upward movement.
For the upward movement. So, as time goes on, I think it will be better, but there's really nothing to celebrate, really.
I also don't rate it. That's the truth.
No, you're not celebrating. Nothing to celebrate.
The
fact that we are moving up.
This is what I think about.
Isn't worth celebrating, guys.
The rankings is not a Nigerian thing for me. I think it's an African thing. Who has ever looked at the fact that it's been a long while, or I can't remember the last time an African team going to the top 10 of the world rankings? I think that's the bigger picture for me in here. You know, because that is worth more celebrating than Nigeria moving around. Even for Nigeria, we moved past 60th in the last, you know, couple of years. We've always hovered between 60 and 70.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the moment we move out of that 60, then we can celebrate, because that's a very, very huge movement for us. But I think that we've started sowing the seeds of that movement with, you know, with Gennard Raw, who has done a good job. But I also think the key for us is that those countries we saw in the top 10, get them, beat them.
No.
And I think that will go a long way for us.
No. We beat Mali. They're in the top 10. You mean the
I'm
top 10
talking about
in
the
the
world rankings.
World top 10.
Those are the guys that guarantee you the each points.
Okay.
Since we start taking us seriously, if we were better organized, some of this, the way we're viewed globally, what people just think about is our past record. A lot of people don't take us seriously. Now, with the organization that I see in the management of the Super Eagles, and if the NFF is able to get quality friendlies, now that we have a semblance of a team, get quality friendly, like you said, those top teams, take them, beat them.
But we've been played top. We've played some top teams. We've played Italy. when they were in the top 10. We played Argentina when they were in the top 10. And those teams counted for so.
I know the problem. When we played those teams,
we were not moving.
Well, then we start knowing the mystery of the rankings.
We're not going up.
Because the ranking itself also has its mystery.
Yeah.
Where you win,
you are not moving. And then you win some games. The team you beat is going up, but you are coming down.
And that explains the skepticism we take the rankings.
And anyway, the average fan wants to have a good feeling seeing the Super Eagles. So what the average fan wants us to play those teams, not even so that we can go up on the ranking, but to be able to brag that the Super Eagles can take on France, can take on Argentina, because those times that we always remember, even if we are 4 goals down, an average Nigerian believes that in 10 minutes,
we can salvage something.
We can salvage, but it's not so anymore.
Anyway, we're not rubbishing the rankings. There's a particular way it's calculated.
Yeah.
If you want a deeper understanding of how it's calculated, just go onto the FIFA website and read about the coefficients.
Yes, it's broken down.
It's broken down for you. So don't mind us if we say we're winning and we're not going up. There's a way to calculate these things. You can understand it better. Maybe become an expert in how to get these things done, so that you can always advise the Eagles who to play, when to play, strategic games to play that will help us move
climb the ladder.
Yeah, all right. So that does it for the rankings. But let's hear from you. What do you think about the upward swing for the Super Eagles? A sign of good things to come? Talk to us. We'd like to read your comments about all of these things and more on sports tonight. Guys, let's go very quickly now. Let's come home and talk about domestic football. Yesterday, we talked about a lot of clubs, changes at different levels. Today, we're focusing on 2 clubs. That's MFM of Lagos and Heartland of Owerri. Earlier today, all kinds of stories were going around on social media about the solution of the management of MFM. But later on, later in the afternoon, there was a story that came out debunking the stories earlier on about the decision of the management of MFM. Because I felt that the management must have picked up very useful lessons from last season that should help them plan better for the new season. And just keep changing, chop and change, chop and change. Somebody comes, starts to learn, before it masters, is gone. For me, I don't think that...
The Nigerian system usually doesn't work. It's a sign of implosion if you do that, because the man that comes destroys the legacy of the past administration, and before you know it, you are back where you came from. And valuable lessons. It started like a house on fire, but gradually it became a team that was struggling to avoid the drop. I think the best way to go is to sort out whatever internal issues that may have
made the team just go down at the crucial part of the season.
If it is player welfare, if it has to do with psychology, if it has to do with
strengthening your squad appropriately,
getting better players, all of those things need to be looked at. And I must tell you, there's a lot of emotional investment in MFM. Apart from the owners of the club, a lot of Lagos fans see MFM as their club.
And so for a long time we never had a team in Lagos, and then suddenly we had 2.
That's why,
and those 2 were almost going at the same time.
That's why the owners of the club have to be careful.
And that brought questions of what could have happened at Agege if they had got relegated on that day against FC final. But we saw how important that club was to Lagos, and with that win. But talking about today's development, I received it with some shock, but I was also really happy with the speed at which the club also debunked this claim. But also, this speed could also have been attached in previous cases where the club also kept quiet. When stories emerged about the sack of the coach, if he was leaving, the ultimatum and stuff like that. This is what we want to see. React swiftly to it so you don't allow those rumors fly around. But I think the next couple of days will be very critical for the club because a whole lot has happened. But I think for the sake of consistency, it's a very young team. It's a team that we know we're naive at a point in time in the season. But if you keep the squad, if you keep this team, if you keep this board, if there's even a board, but I believe that consistency is key, and I hope that they can think in that direction, because it's a club that can't afford to implode again next season. They need to put everything into order. But I think from my point of view, I still think that it's a club that will withstand this stormy period and come out better.
Let's go quickly to Owerri and talk about the club that couldn't survive the drop. Heartland of Owerri, for the first time, have gone down. And right now in Owerri, everything is just going around. The government has dissolved the management that came in just a few games at the end of the season. And it's really, really tragic for Heartland. Everything is imploding, and scapegoats are being sought for everywhere.
Usually that's what happens when success doesn't happen. Somebody is targeted, somebody is looked for, and somebody is made to pay the price. Honestly, a lot of us didn't see this coming, but it got a point. Even on the last day, you were thinking they would still probably do the business, but they didn't. But you see, my problem is house cleaning of this sort usually doesn't work in our system, because it disrupts the balance, if there's any. Because you look at this team, what should be on the minds of the owners of this club, since they've decided to drop the appeal, what should be on their minds? How do we get back
as quickly as possible?
Quickly as, what is the plan? A season or two in the NLL, and we are back in top flight. And for whatever reasons, I don't know. I don't know if it's such a good idea, because you look at our system, you know, I don't know. But I just hope...
In as much as we want consistency and don't like the spate of dissolutions that's going around, because it's a wind of change. If you look at the fallout that has emerged after the season has ended, like a week or two, people that have lost their jobs,
a lot.
You are really, really alarmed. But if a top club feels that being a top club, we have set goals and objectives that have not been met, then someone has to pay for it. Heartland is a top club, is a club that has never been relegated, which makes it a top club. Same thing happened at Kano Pillars. You can't go from winning the league back to ending 7th at a point in time. So it's all about standards. If you set a high standard, you don't meet it, then someone has to pay for it. And I think that's what has happened at Heartland.